It is Saturday, October 4th, and the Yankees' chase for number 28 continued today in Toronto. Game 1 of the American League Division Series with the Blue Jays. Luis Gil on the mound looking for the dub. My recap and your reactions coming up next. This is Pinstripe Territory.
Just wanted to talk, that's all.
You watch the game? I mean, didn't it suck? It sucked.
Only way to win it in 4 is to lose a game. And now all I gotta do is win 3 straight. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you. This game was all Blue Jays. All Blue Jays. But this was their best pitching matchup of the series. Today, or tomorrow, we got Max Fried going up against a rookie who'll be making, I believe, his 4th career start. And we just had that story with the Red Sox. Yankees are gonna leave Toronto with a split if everything goes according to plan. And that's all you need, because then you have snatched home field advantage and you can go win 2 games without ever going back to Toronto. But this game was all Blue Jays. There's no getting around that. Huge bases loaded opportunity for the Yankees in the 6th inning. They only got 1 run out of it. Aaron Judge is going to be part of the story. You're already seeing the memes because he had an easy ball 4 and an RBI, and he swung at a pitch way out of the zone. So he did have 2 hits tonight, including a double, and Judge is hitting .400 with a 905 OPS in the postseason. But again, those big spots with runners on are where it matters. Getting a single with nobody out in the 1st inning is nice. No one gives a flying you-know-what. We want the big hits with runners and scoring position. That's how you win baseball games. 30th anniversary this year of my favorite baseball game of all time, possibly. Game 2 of the 1995 American League Division Series. Ruben Sierra and Don Mattingly went back-to-back. Jim Leyritz walked it off with a 15th inning home run in the rain. O'Neill went deep in that game. Andy Pettitte pitched in that game. And the Yankees won the first 2 games of that division series, and it was looking like they were going to just walk to victory. But, you know, the Mariners fans, who had already turned their attention to the Seahawks and the Supersonics, were lucky enough that the Yankees fell apart. The bullpen specifically fell apart in Seattle. And the M's came back to win that series before losing in the American League Championship Series. But that's just a reminder that it's the first team to 3 wins, not the first team to 1 win. And for all the Blue Jays fans who are chirping in the chat, it sounds very familiar to what we heard from the Red Sox fans less than a week ago. But tough game for the Yanks. We had to endure John Smoltz, who is, without question, the most anti-Yankee national broadcaster there is. There should be a requirement that to call a game, the Yankees could not have beaten your team twice in the World Series while you were playing. That tends to create a lifetime of animosity. And, you know, you could sense it. He was rooting for the Blue Jays. Luis Gil serving up meatballs today. He was finished after 2 2/3 innings. Boone with the very quick hook. I think maybe even too quick. I mean, you know, he was out after, 8 outs? But ironically, no walks, and he was throwing a lot of strikes. So I think he made a couple of bad pitches within the zone. But I think the game would have been closer if you leave Luis Gil in. Luke Weaver, absolute dog shit today. He is absolutely cooked. He is terrible. He should be, removed from the roster with some kind of a phantom injury.
You can't win!
He has nothing left. He's faced 6 batters in the postseason. They've all gotten hits or reached base. And listen, this is not the time to be giving guys rope to get things together. You can't go to him anymore. You cannot go to him in the postseason. He's done. I mean, figure it out next year on whatever team you're on, because he's a free agent. But Look, the Yankees got crushed, but this is not necessarily a momentum killer. Sometimes this happens. You'd rather have a loss like this than a walk-off in extras or something. The goal remains the same. I can't stress that enough. Split in Toronto, and then you steal home field advantage and you go win it in New York. It's that simple. And the Yankees have the pitching advantage for the rest of this series up until Game 5. The next 3 games, the Yankees have the advantage. They've just got to do something with it. But just 1 run on 6 hits. Again, they didn't hit the ball out of the ballpark, so you got to have a feeling like some guys are due to get going. We'll see. Let's get to the takeaways.
Let's go. Let's get it going.
So the Yankees started the game with just some bad luck. I mean, Grisham fouled one off his toe, but it stayed fair and was called out because the umpire missed it. And, sometimes baseball gives you an indication early on that it's not going to be your night. I didn't like the vibe right there. It was a bad omen for the game. Vladdy Jr. broke a month-long slump of home runs by hitting a hanging changeup. That's the danger of throwing a changeup to a righty. That's why a lot of right-handed pitchers don't throw changeups to righties, because if it just floats a little bit too much or stays over the plate down and in, it's easy to drop the bat head on it, and that's a pitch that you lift in the air and oftentimes becomes a home run. Vladdy followed it up with a highlight play at first base, diving stab, got a double play, and look, he was a superstar today. He went 3 for 4. He had 2 ribbies, so credit to Vladdy, who just signed that big contract and, turned in a big-time performance. That is a big-time performance from a superstar who needed it, First postseason appearance with the Jays. And, hey, superstar, what are you going to do? Alejandro Kirk is the guy that pisses me off more. That little homunculus who just kills the Yankees. Ended the season red hot, drove in 6 runs in the final game of the season to help them win the division. Clearly it carried over, hit 2 home runs today. He's going to be dangerous this whole series. You need to treat him the same as you treat Vladdy Guerrero. Without Bo Bichette, he's your number 2 focus right now because momentum is real, and he's swinging the bat very, very well. The Jays played tremendous defense today. They made the plays. The Yankees hit some balls hard early. Stanton hit one hard at third base. The play by Vladdy. Jazz nearly had a big knock in the 5th, maybe extra bases, but got robbed by a diving catch. When you're not catching breaks, it starts to feel like, the momentum's just not going your way. And, I think that can get into your head a little bit, and you just turn the page. Volpe stayed hot, ringing double off the left field wall in the 6th inning. He is hitting .333 with a team best .933 OPS in the postseason. But the 6th inning is going to be all we talk about if the Yankees don't win this series. Wells singled, Grisham walked, Judge came up with the bases loaded, biggest postseason at bat so far, and 3-2 count, swung at a pitch way, way outside of the zone. You got to take that pitch. I'm sorry. You're getting paid $40 million. You can't take that swing. I'm sorry. And I'm a big-time Judge supporter. That was inexcusable. Bellinger, the very next hitter, demonstrated the kind of discipline that you need to have in that situation. He was taking until he got a strike. And you know what? He walked. His approach stood out. Locked in, tracking everything well. You could tell that this guy's about to bust out. I think Bellinger looks close. Watch out for him later in the series. Even though he went 0 for 3, I thought his at-bats looked good. Not to sound like Aaron Boone. I thought, the way he was tracking the ball looked good. Ben Rice had a rough day. He had no idea what to do with that Gossman splitter. That's just a veteran pitcher with one of the nastiest individual pitches in baseball, taking advantage of a young hitter who's hot and aggressive. And, had never seen a pitch like that in his life. And he had a tough day. Ben Rice went 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts and popped up in that inning. Stanton swung through a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, 101, I think, actually. 7th inning, McMahon reached on a single, but Boone made the odd choice to pinch run for him mid-at-bat. What is that about? Either a miscommunication or a move from deep within the analytics spreadsheet. Why not just pinch run for him at the beginning of the at-bat? You didn't give Caballero a chance to steal. Volpe went down swinging on a painted heater at 98. Wells grounded out to end the inning, and you could feel the air come out of the dugout at that point. And then it was a familiar story. Bullpen melted down. Just melted down. Luke Weaver faced 6 hitters, gave up 2 hits and a walk. No, he faced 3 hitters, sorry. 2 hits and a walk, 3 earned runs. All 3 of them scored. Fernando Cruz gave up a run. And then Paul Blackburn, who's in there for games like this. He's on the roster to get punched in the face like this when you're losing. And he did, effectively. 6 hits, 4 runs, and, that just turned it into a laugher from the Jays' perspective. So, tough day. Hopefully the Yankees can turn it around and win tomorrow. They had Max Fried on the mound, and the pitcher for the Blue Jays is Trey Yesevich, who in his career has only made a few starts. I'm going to pull up Trey Yesevich on Baseball Savant. I want to see what his metrics looks like. Baseball Savant. Sorry, bear with me a little bit. But the Yankees clearly have the advantage on paper. Max Fried was tremendous his first time out. Let's go ahead and take a look. Now, Yesevich, you look at the chase percentage and the whiff percentage, both very good. The walk percentage is low. Okay? Hard hit percentage is low. Ground ball percentage is high. It's a 3-pitch pitcher, fastball, slider, and split finger. The fastball velocity is about 95, so it's a little bit above league average. Average exit velocity is not great. This is a guy who, will walk you. He's 22 years old. He is a first-round draft pick, number 20, out of East Carolina. University is a good baseball program. 3.21 ERA, made 3 starts during the regular season. But number 26 prospect in baseball. It's going to be a big spot for him. I'd imagine the Yankees have had tons of scouts looking at him, and they're going to have to treat him the same way that they treated Connolly early the other day. Work the count, make him throw strikes, and take advantage when he gives you opportunities. And we're going to need Max Fried to be Max Fried. Max Fried has got to be feeling good coming off of his first postseason start with the Yankees. If he delivers that again tomorrow or something similar, Yanks are going to win the game. No question. Not a question in my mind. The Yankees are going to get to Trey Yesevich for probably 3-4 runs. And the Blue Jays don't have a great bullpen. They used it well today. But I think if you get to the bullpen early, advantage Yankees, obviously. Let's talk a little bit about Luis Gil.
Pitcher Spotlight.
Again, I think that they might have gone to him a little bit, or they might have gone away from him a little bit too early. He was rusty coming out of the gate, made a couple of pitches down the middle, but his stuff was good. He was throwing hard. He was throwing strikes. He didn't have any walks. How often does he not walk anybody? But unfortunately, he will pick up the L in this start. So 6.75 ERA so far in the postseason after 1 start. 48 pitches, 34 strikes. That's a better ratio than he usually has. Let's take a few voicemails.
Yeah, Derek, it's Eddie again. Listen, if we don't win the next 3 games, you can forget about it. We have our best pitchers going, but we'll never go back Game 5 for Toronto against Guzman. It ain't going to happen.
Well, we'll see. Apex has stopped jinxing us, Derek. Jinxes are not real. If I can affect what's happening in a baseball game, then there's something whack about the universe. Okay? I'm here to talk. I'm going to say whatever I want, and you're done, because that is bullshit. You can't jinx a game by talking about it. Stop being stupid. Here's Rick.
Hey, Derek. It's Rick in South Carolina. Weaver's just blown the game, and Weaver has turned into the same old trash pitcher he was before last year. The same trash pitcher he was his entire career before that. He cannot be used in any kind of high-leverage situation.
I agree with you. We got some people saying that Luis Gil's stuff wasn't great. I thought he looked a little rusty, but the heater was there. The heater had ride, and I thought he was throwing strikes. He was maybe a little bit wild within the strike zone, and maybe that's why he gave up the home runs and why Boone got him out of there quick, but I would have left him in there. I I would have given him a chance to work out of it. He looked strong, and, maybe I think he would have settled in. But, I mean, I could be wrong. Whatever.
Hey, Derek. Well, here we go again. Bringing in Weaver here, 2-1. It's the bottom of the 7th as I'm saying this. The game's still within reach, and promptly, single, all of a sudden the game is blown wide open. It's not just Weaver.
Yeah, and Weaver was crap. The only relief pitchers who threw the ball well today were Doval and Hill. I thought Hill did tremendous job, and Doval is going to continue to get good opportunities because he has looked good for a couple of weeks now, and his stuff is looking fantastic. I'm going to pull up the box score real quick, and we're going to see how many strikes Doval threw because I feel like he was hitting the zone a little bit more than he usually does. So 2 scoreless innings, no walks for Doval. 20 pitches, 12 strikes. So Doval seems to have put it together. And we might not see him tomorrow because we're going to get Max Fried out there and hopefully you won't need him. But when we go back to New York, expect to see Doval in a big spot instead of Weaver. For sure. And Tim Hill, he was good. An inning and a third.
Yes, this is Wade from Kentucky. Just about Judge. Judge just does not seem to be able to ever hit in the clutch. And at least 10 times now this year, I've watched him blow it with runners runners on all bases. He could have got a grand slam. He didn't even get a hit. He's not clutch.
Well, we're going to find out. I mean, it was an at-bat that a lot of people are going to have a problem with. I had a real problem with him chasing right there. You have got to be more disciplined than that. But he is hitting 400 in the postseason. We have to give him that. If they keep challenging him, I believe he will hit in this series. He's got to get a big hit. He did have a double later in the game, a hustle double. Arm looked good in right field. Here's Brian.
What's going on, Derek? Just wanted to say, man, it's a tough watch we've been having here for sure. Two diagnoses I've kind of came up with here. Wanted to hear your thoughts on them. First off is the approach they came with as far as offensively was terrible, trying to start the game with just absolutely swinging at every first pitch, being overly aggressive, going outside of their game. You don't have to change who you are because of a mediocre pitcher. I think Trent Grisham saw 2 pitches his first 2 at-bats. For a leadoff hitter, that's criminal, man. The second thing is we had bases loaded. We had Judge up, who expands the strike zone. That would have been an RBI. A run comes in. This would have been a tie game right now. He ends up K'ing. Stanton comes up. He ends up K'ing. If these 2 guys suck when you have the biggest moment of the game, bags loaded in the playoffs, and you're down, and you guys can't produce a run, this team is in trouble. They gotta step up. This is it.
So first of all, I got to give Brian a round of applause. That's a great take. That's why I play Brian's calls a lot. Brian and I think a lot alike, and he has a lot of great takes. He said something that I didn't think of that I wish I had thought of, which is don't change your approach. Which is, the Yankees did change their approach early on in this game. They were chasing first pitch. They were not making Gossman, who hadn't pitched in a while, work. And Gossman took advantage of it. This is a veteran pitcher. Obviously, they were trying to avoid the splitter, right? But, just chasing way too many first pitches. Quick word from DraftKings, and back to wrap it up. Pressure is on, the lights are brighter, and with DraftKings Sportsbook, you're right there in the middle of every moonshot moment. DraftKings Sportsbook delivers the intensity of October with player props, live in-game betting, and odds that can change as fast as a ball flying over the fence. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get paid out $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code FOUL. That's code FOUL to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Minimum minus 500 odds required. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
We got a comment here from Nick Weiner who says, hated it. Yeah, he reminded me of the In Living Color, folks. You guys remember that show? They had this segment called Men on Film. It was Damon Wayans and I want to say David Alan Grier. And they would talk about a movie, and they would always end with, hated it. So that's what that reminded me of. But yes, I hated that as well. Tough day. Rick Diaz says we're going to have to win 3 in a row. We had a call about that early. I mean, it's easy to say that because the Yankees look so bad against Gossman, and they don't seem to play well in Toronto. If they win in Toronto tomorrow, that might change the calculus a little bit. I think the Yankees will win 3 in a row. I think they can. I think that if you win tomorrow, you got Rodon in a Game 3 who'll hopefully be pumped up. And then in Game 4, they get Cam Schlittler, who, as we know, is literally the best pitcher in postseason history. So, ladies and gentlemen, tough day for the Yankees. I will be back, obviously, tomorrow, pre-game show and then post-game show. Be sure to spay and neuter your pets. We'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this content, please hit that like button and subscribe. Check out NYYDesigns.shop for some great merch. Support our sponsors. It helps keep the show going. And you can find us on all major audio platforms, so be sure to subscribe there too. But most importantly, come back again soon. We'll see you next time.